All right, can you guys hear me okay?
Okay. Hi, Christina. Yes, we can hear you and see you.
Hey. Oh, oh, you can see me?
Swanson's here.
That that was Crockett. That was Carol.
Unmute. Okay. Just so you know, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Good morning, Carlos. Yes, we can hear you.
I'm doing a sound check.
Yes, we can hear you. Can you hear me?
Okay, I'm gonna see if I can't get you on my my earbuds.
Everyone online, can you hear me?
Yes.
Thank you.
I can hear you too. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Thank you.
All right, we'll go ahead and get this rolling. Good morning, everyone. We'll go ahead and call this meeting to order, and we'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance. A roll call, but before actually does a roll call, we'll go ahead and go over some housekeeping notes here. A number of the members are virtual today. That's fine. For board members that are in person, there are microphones directly in front of you. When they are red, the mic is not live. Please click on the mic when you want to talk. The mic will turn green and then you can speak. Once you're done speaking, please push the mic again so that it turns red. For board members participating via Zoom, please stay on mute. Excuse me. If you would like to speak, please push the hand icon to indicate you would like to speak. This will help me to know you would like to say something, and then I'll make sure you have an opportunity to speak. For charters or applicants on the agenda that are participating via Zoom, please stay muted until your item is called. Once your item is called, board staff will introduce the item, and then I will call on you to address the board. At that time, you may unmute yourself. For charters or applicants on the agenda participating in person, once your item is called, board staff will provide a brief introduction and answer any questions board members may have for staff. Then I will request that representatives for the charter come up to the podium to address the board. And with that, Ashley, could you please do the roll call?
Yes, good morning, everyone. President Close, Vice President Montier, Here. Superintendent Designee Miller.
Here.
Miss Barr.
Here.
Dr. Crockett.
Here.
Miss Foster.
Christina Foster here.
Mr. Ruiz.
I'm here. Carlos Reese is here.
Thank you. Mr. Stratton. Mr. Swanson.
Good morning, I'm here.
Good morning. You have a quorum.
Thank you, Ashley. And with that, we will move on to item D, Superintendent's Report, just in time, Wendy.
Good morning. Thank you, President Close. Wanted to make you aware of a few opportunities right now with the Department of Education. One would be a well-managed classroom, the why, the what, and the how. This training will be held on September 4th, and the best way to register would be through the ADE Connect portal. Also, LEA reps, please check your inbox for an August 5th email memo from the ADE School Preparedness Team, which includes the 2024 EOP Basic Plan Template on the ADE School Preparedness School Emergency Planning website with step-by-step instructions on what to include in each section to make sure those safety plans are ready to go and set up according to state legislation. Also in this memo is information about suicide prevention training opportunities and school crisis response training. Also an update from the School Training Overdose Preparedness and Intelligence Task Force, better known as Stop It. The superintendent wishes everyone a successful start to the school year. Thank you. That concludes the report.
Thank you, Wendy. Moving on, item E, Ashley, Executive Director's Report.
Good morning, Vice President Close. Vice President Montier. I'm a little not used to this. I guess it's been a while since I've seen you guys. But good morning, board members. It's so good to see you after having a break over summer. And just really looking forward to this board meeting and all the work that we get to do this year. As an update, and like I do every board meeting, as an update on amendments that have been approved by me, and these are amendments that you all have given me the authority to approve, and they're more technical in nature. But I have approved 99 amendments. And in addition to that, you all have given President Close the authority to approve surrender agreements. Those are closures of contracts themselves. And President Close has approved 3 of those, one for Arizona Language Schools, Kaizen Education, and Espiritu Schools, and all of which have closed for various reasons, but mostly for consolidation purposes with other campuses that they currently have, and then one looking to close just for low enrollment. Additionally, we have been notified that 21st Century Charter School is closing as well, but that will be on your docket for the following board meeting, most likely. As an update for board actions and legal matters, we actually don't have much, which is great to report. We are currently working with Academy of Tucson and Mountain Oak School to have them sign their consent agreements that you all have issued since last school year. But other than that, that is all that we have, and that is all that I have to report.
Thank you, Ashley. We'll go ahead and move on. Was there anyone, do we have anyone for call to the public? Nothing? No? Okay, item F, call to the public, done. Item G, consent agenda.
This is Jessica. I move to approve the consent agenda as presented.
There's a motion. Is there a second?
A second.
Second. Ashley, you can take the vote or?
Vice President Montier,
Aye.
Superintendent Designee Miller,
Aye.
Miss Barr,
Aye.
Dr. Crockett,
Aye.
Miss Foster,
Aye.
Mr. Ruiz,
Hi.
Mr. Swanson,
Aye.
President Close.
Aye.
Thank you. Motion passes.
Thank you. Moving on to, moving quickly along to item H. Charter amendments, Eagle, let's see, Leading Edge Academy, Maricopa, presentation by Shannon.
Good morning. President Close, Vice President Montier, Superintendent Designee Miller, and members of the board. Leading Edge Academy Maricopa has submitted an amendment request to increase its enrollment cap from 850 to 1,000 for fiscal year 2025. The increase is to enable the school to increase to 4 sections of each grade and not displace any currently enrolled students. The charter holder does not meet the staff recommendation criteria because Leading Edge Academy Maricopa does not perform at or above the average performance of nearby schools in ELA and math, and I am available if you have questions.
Any questions for Shannon? If not, is there a representative from the charter?
Hold on. Yes, just a moment. I'm putting my video on there. Good morning. This is Lori Anderson. I'm the executive director for Leading Edge Academy, and I have Mary Ellen Lee, our director of development, here as well. And she's going to share some information with you guys. Thank you.
Yes, thank you so much for letting us be here this morning and address this. So as Shannon said, this amendment will allow Maricopa to comfortably expand into filling 4 sections at each grade level. The demand for the market really has driven this decision, as we already are having students come in and we have students on our wait list pending today. We've always believed in slow growth, so you'll notice that we're only asking for an increase of about 150 students. The one area that showed up red on our recommendation is performing better on average than schools within the 5-mile radius. So I wanted to go ahead and just address that with the board. So upon looking at the data, we were within 7% in ELA and 4% in math to meet this metric. However, I think it's really important to address what we've done and what those practices have resulted in over this last year. So at the Maricopa campus, we've ensured that there's an instructional assistant in every K-5 classroom and every core classroom in 6th or 8th grade. We're actually extremely proud of this model. So essentially there are 2 teachers in every classroom. So our ratio, our student to teacher ratio, is extremely low when compared to other schools. The other thing that we implemented last year is a data coach dedicated to ELA and a data coach dedicated to math, who then met with our teachers and kept an eye on that, on data, subgroup data, overall data, all of our data trends. And then the last thing that we did is we built in a 1-hour MTSS hour where students were regrouped each quarter based on their benchmark assessment data. And if you had access to our current state accountability data, you'd be able to see that the Maricopa campus received enough points to actually be A-rated, assuming the scales are staying the same. So I know we can't officially announce yet, and we won't. However, we're very excited, just as a testament to everything that we have implemented to see the results of that. So we're extremely proud of hopefully the soon to be letter grade. And most of that letter grade, where the increase happened was in our total growth point. So we met 95% of the total possible growth points. So that's 47.61 points out of 50, which is an increase year over year. So in 1 year, that's an 18% increase in our students who are maintaining growth. And we're just extremely proud of that. Just looking at the data that you guys do have access to, that is public as of right now. If you can see those phase student data, you can see students who stay with us, our 3-year phase students on average perform 10% better than those who aren't. And so we're also just really proud of the fact that we're bringing students where they're at, that represent that community, and we're seeing that what we're doing is working. And so while we do know that the metrics are there for a reason, we are asking that you take a look at the data holistically and the most current data that we have, and consider approving our enrollment increase for our soon to be A-rated Maricopa school. Do you guys have any questions for us?
Any questions?
I just have a quick question. This is Jessica. Roughly, what are you looking at as far as wait list in specific grade levels?
Yeah, so we are currently.
Yes.
Yeah, so we are currently waitlisted in four grade levels.
All right, thank you. Anyone online from the board have any questions? Nope. There are no questions. Thank you for your presentation. Any motion?
Yes. This is Jessica. I move, based on the information contained in the board materials and presented today, to approve the request to increase the enrollment cap for the contract of Leading Edge Academy Maricopa from 850 to 1,000 beginning in fiscal year 2025.
There is a motion. Is there a second?
Carol Crockett, I second.
Thank you, Dr. Crockett. Ashley, can you take the vote?
Vice President Montier,
Aye.
Superintendent Designee Miller,
Aye.
Miss Barr,
Aye.
Dr. Crockett,
Aye.
Miss Foster,
Aye.
Mr. Ruiz,
Aye.
Mr. Swanson,
Hi, Mary Ellen. Thanks for the presentation, and aye.
President Close.
I want to echo Jim and just say, hi, Mary Ellen. Good to see you. But aye.
With that, motion passes.
Thank you. And we'll go ahead and move on to item I, charter renewal.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you. George Gervin Youth Center, presentation by Mary.
Good morning, President Close, Vice President Montier, and board members. George Gervin Youth Center, Inc. submitted a charter renewal application package on March 16th, 2024 to continue operation of George Gervin Prep Academy serving grades K-8 in Phoenix with a current enrollment cap of 500. As part of the renewal process, staff conducted an academic systems review using a desk review process with a virtual visit of George Gervin Prep Academy on April 29th, 2024. During the academic systems review, specific areas of the charter contract are reviewed to ensure a charter holder is in compliance. At this time, the charter holder is in compliance with all areas. Charter holder currently meets the board's academic, operational, and financial performance expectations. If you have any questions, I'm here. Otherwise, that's it.
Any questions from the board? If not, is there a representative from the charter? Good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Chair, President and Vice President, and all board members. I'm just here to say I'm Barbara Hawkins, Superintendent of George Gervin, and just excited today about this opportunity. And we too have looked at our preliminary scores, and we'll have a B if all cut scores stay the same. So we're moving in that trend and we'll continue. And I'm here with our awesome principal, Melinda Crawford, Dr. Crawford.
Good morning. And I'm Dr. Crawford, principal starting my 6th year at George Gervin Prep Academy. And we are super excited, and we are 1.94 away from an A actually for this upcoming school year. But you will see that over the years, we have progressively grown. And so we are excited to enter into this renewal so that we can continue to serve our neighborhood.
Any questions for
Yeah,
us?
I'm gonna ask any questions? Anyone online have any questions? If not, going once, twice?
No questions. It seems pretty straightforward, so. This is Jessica. I move based on a review of the information provided by the representatives of the charter holder and the contents of the application package to approve the charter renewal application package and grant a renewal contract to George Gervin Youth Center, Inc., effective July 1, 2026.
There is a motion. Is there a second?
I'll Second. second the motion.
Board member Barr got the second there. So Ashley, can you take the vote?
Vice President Montier,
Aye.
Superintendent Designee Miller,
Aye.
Miss Barr,
Aye.
Dr. Crockett.
Aye.
Dr. Crockett, was that an aye?
Aye, yes, sorry.
That's okay. Miss Foster,
Excuse me. Aye.
Mr. Ruiz,
Aye.
Mr. Swanson,
Aye.
President Close.
Aye.
Motion passes.
Thank you all so much.
Microphone on. Moving on to item J, annual audit compliance trends, presentation by Andrea.
President Close, Vice President Montier, Superintendent Designee Miller, and board members. Good morning. Today I will be presenting on the compliance trends of your portfolio based on the annual audits conducted by independent CPAs. The board will be considering the financial performance under agenda item K. Next slide, please. This slide identifies key board actions over the years that have affected how the board evaluates the portfolio's compliance or operational performance using the annual audits. I would briefly like to touch on 3 of the events. In 2003, the board developed the Audit and Compliance Questionnaire Follow-up Matrix, or Audit Matrix, to guide staff's review of the annual audits and staff's follow-up with charter holders on issues identified through the audits. The Audit Matrix classifies audit issues into one of 3 categories: minimal impact findings, medium impact findings, and serious impact findings. 11 years after the Audit Matrix was implemented, the board adopted its operational performance framework. The operational framework includes 9 measures, one of which is specific to matters pertaining to the annual audits. In 2021, the board revised the operational framework and audit matrix to ensure the portfolio's continued improved performance and the consistent treatment of compliance issues across all board processes. These changes included requiring corrective action plans for open meeting law violations identified in 2 consecutive audits and for any minimal impact finding identified in 3 consecutive audits. Next slide, please. The audits are reviewed pursuant to the board adopted processes addressed on the previous slide, as well as administrative rule and the board's financial framework. Each charter holder receives a letter after the audit has been reviewed, and depending on the issues identified, the charter holder may be required to submit documentation to the board, and issues may be recorded on the operational dashboard. Next slide, please. This slide identifies the top 5 audit corrective action plan, or CAP, issues based on the fiscal year 2023 audits and compares them to the top 5 audit CAP issues from the fiscal year 2014 audit cycle. It should be noted that 1/4 of the CAP issues identified in the fiscal year 2023 audits are attributable to changes implemented by the board during the last 2 audit cycles. Next slide, please. This slide identifies the percentage of the board's portfolio required to submit a CAP. The number in parentheses under each fiscal year reflects the total number of audits the board received. Over the years, the number of charter contracts required to submit a CAP has ranged from a low of 15 for the fiscal year 2020 audits to a high of 101 for the fiscal year 2005 audits. After the all-time low in the fiscal year 2020 audit cycle, the percentage of the board required to submit a CAP increased in the next 2 fiscal years and dropped slightly based on the fiscal year 2023 audits. The increase for the fiscal year 2021 audits is largely attributable to 2 new student attendance reporting questions being added by the Arizona Auditor General and Arizona Department of Education. If the CAPs associated with the 2 new questions were removed, the percentage of the portfolio required to submit a CAP would be 4.4%. The percentages for the fiscal years 2022 and 2023 audit cycles can be partly explained by new CAP issues recently added by the board, as well as some charter networks being required to submit the same CAP for each contract they hold. If the effect of these 2 factors is removed, the percentage of the portfolio required to submit a CAP based on the fiscal year 2022 audits and fiscal year 2023 audits would be 4.4% and 3.9% respectively. Next slide, please. This slide identifies the number of repeat CAP issues identified in the audits. Throughout the years, the board has implemented changes to promote sustained compliance. Therefore, after relatively high numbers in the early years, the number of repeat CAP issues has continued to remain low since the fiscal year 2015 audits. For the fiscal year 2023 audit cycle, 1 second-time CAP issue was identified. The issue pertained to an attendance question added to the compliance questionnaires by the Auditor General and ADE for the fiscal year 21 audit cycle. Next slide, please. For issues of non-compliance that do not require or initially require a CAP, staff tracks the issue and determines if the issue is repeated in the next year's audit in accordance with Appendix B of the board's operational framework. If the issue falls within the parameters of Appendix B and is identified in at least 2 consecutive audits, it is referred to as a repeated minimal impact finding. As noted earlier, beginning with the fiscal year 2022 audits, charter holders are now required to submit a cap for open meeting law violations identified in 2 consecutive audits and for any minimal impact finding identified in 3 consecutive audits. For the years represented by this graph, the number of repeated minimal impact findings has ranged from a low of 10 identified for the fiscal year 2022 audits to a high of 136 identified for the fiscal year 2012 audits. For the fiscal year 2022 audit cycle, audit caps were required for 2 of the 10 repeated issues identified, and for the fiscal year 23 audit cycle, it was 7 of the 12 repeated issues identified. I'm available for questions.
Any questions? None. Move on to item K.
President Close, Vice President Montier, Superintendent Designee Miller, and members of the board. In September 2023, the Arizona Auditor General issued its performance audit and sunset review of the board. The sunset audit recommended the board develop and implement written policies and procedures for revising the financial framework. In October 2023, the board adopted its policy and procedures for revising the board's performance frameworks. The meeting materials include the first review of the financial framework completed by staff under this policy. Based on the fiscal year 2023 audit cycle, approximately 90% of the board's portfolio received an overall good standing rating under the financial framework, which is similar to the portfolio's performance for the prior 2 audit cycles. Generally, the percentage of the portfolio receiving a meet standard on each of the financial framework's 6 measures has remained relatively consistent for the fiscal years 21, 22, and 23 audit cycles. Based on the review results and in accordance with the board's policy, staff is proposing the board release for public comment 2 changes to the financial framework approved by the board in February 2024. The first change pertains to the February framework's average daily membership measure and stems from the ADM discussions that occurred during the Financial Framework Subcommittee's meetings. While the February framework provides for a rating adjustment, the February framework does not address the scenario where a charter holder receives 2 or more approaches standard ratings and no below standard ratings on the other 5 measures. As such, under the February framework, the average daily membership measure could be the only measure rated below standard. A below standard rating on any measure results in the charter holder entering the financial intervention process. For this scenario, staff is proposing that the below standard rating be increased to an approaches standard rating. The second change pertains to the change in net assets used under the framework. Historically, the financial framework has considered the charter holder's total change in net assets. For the fiscal years 2023 and 2024 audit cycles, the February framework uses the change in net assets without donor restrictions for those charter holders that would be positively affected, and the total change in net assets for the remaining charter holders. The subcommittee recommended the shift to allow staff to gather data on how using the change in net assets without donor restrictions affected performance based on the fiscal year 2023 audits. At the December 2023 meeting, the board concurred with the subcommittee's recommendation and directed staff to provide the data to the board at a subsequent meeting. Based on the results included in Appendix D of the meeting materials, staff believes the same change in net assets should apply to all charter holders and is proposing that the change in net assets without donor restrictions be used beginning with the fiscal year 2025 audits. I'm available for questions.
Any questions? No one here? Anyone online may have a question? If not, they're
President Close.
Jim.
This is Jim Swanson. Just want to compliment both on the work you guys did on item J. I didn't get in quick enough, but really good results, and proud of what you guys have done, and nice work on the framework stuff. So thank you.
I would like to say that that was pretty self-explanatory, but a lot of it I had to really think about when I read through everything. But it was very thorough and really well done, both K and J. So thank you.
Having said that, Jessica.
Me again. This is Jessica. I move to direct staff to solicit public comment in accordance with the board's procedures for rule and policy adoption on the proposed changes to the financial performance framework's average daily membership measure and adjusted net income measure found in the board materials and presented today.
Okay, there's a motion. Is there a second?
I'll second. This is Wendy Miller.
Thank you, Wendy. Ashley, can you take the vote?
Vice President Montier,
Aye.
Superintendent Designee Miller,
Aye.
Miss Barr,
Aye.
Dr. Crockett,
Aye.
Miss Foster,
Aye.
Mr. Ruiz,
Aye.
Mr. Swanson,
Aye.
President Close.
Aye.
Motion passes.
All right. Thank you all. Andrea, I guess, are you up for item L as well?
You're almost done with me. President Close, Vice President Montier, Superintendent Designee Miller, and members of the board. To ensure consistency among audit firms and to improve transparency, staff is recommending the board approve changes to the special education section of the board's compliance questionnaires. Staff proposes the board implement these changes with the fiscal year 2025 audits. If approved by the board, early implementation of the sample sizes with the fiscal year 2024 audits would be permitted. During the first opportunity for public comment, which closed on June 27th, the board received written comments from one stakeholder. In Appendix A of the staff report, staff summarized the public comment and provided staff's analysis and response. Based on the public comment received, staff made certain revisions. Today's meeting provides the second opportunity for public comment. I'm available for questions.
Any questions? Anyone online have any questions, comments? If not, Jessica?
Almost done with me as well. So this is Jessica. I move to adopt the changes to the special education section of the board's legal compliance questionnaire and USFRCS compliance questionnaire found in the board materials and presented today, and direct staff to make necessary changes to other relevant documents to reflect the board's action at this meeting. I further move that these changes be implemented with the fiscal year 2025 audits, with early implementation of the sample sizes permitted for the fiscal year 2024 audits.
Okay, there's a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Dr. Crockett, thank you. Ashley, please take the vote.
Vice President Montier,
Aye.
Superintendent Designee Miller,
Aye.
Miss Barr,
Aye.
Dr. Crockett,
Aye.
Miss Foster,
Aye.
Mr. Ruiz,
Aye.
Mr. Swanson,
Aye.
President Close.
Aye.
Motion passes.
Very good. That's item L done. Item M. Ashley, do you have anything for our current events, future meeting dates, or other items?
Our next meeting is September 9th, and that is all that I have to report.
Thank you. Ashley, all the other staff, you're continuing to do a tremendous job. Thank you all. And with that, we'll adjourn this meeting. Thank you all.
Thank you. Guys, stay safe.
Great job. Thanks.
Thank you to everyone online.